What's up guys, my name is Ace, and welcome back to another gun guide. This is the series where I take a deep look into the stats of all of the weapons as well as their variants in Infinite Warfare. In today's episode, we're going to be covering the most recent SMG that's been added to the game called the VPR. Let's get into it. Alright guys, before we hop into the stats of the VPR, you might be wondering, how do you unlock the VPR? And it's quite simple. If you are a Season Pass holder, you already have it unlocked, it just unlocks by default. And if you aren't a Season Pass holder, you have to win 12 games where you get at least one kill with the X-Eon or the Xeon, which is the other gun that was added with this pack. If you guys are interested in seeing the gun guide for that one, I will leave a link down below to the playlist that has all of my gun guide episodes. So now let's hop into the stats for the base VPR. We've got a damage profile of 15, 12, 10, which is very strange looking at first, but this gun actually fires 2 hit scans with each shot that you fire. So essentially the damage per shot is actually going to be 30, 24, 20. Our rate of fire is relatively fast for SMGs, not the fastest in the category or anything, but it's relatively fast at 833 rounds per minute. Our time to kill within its very short 4-shot kill range, which we're going to be looking at in a little bit, is right around average for SMGs within these ranges at 216 milliseconds. And once we get into the 5-shot kill range, at least at mid-range, it's quite slow for SMGs at 288 milliseconds. Our aim down sight time is standard for SMGs at 230 milliseconds. Same thing goes for the sprint out time, it's standard at 150 milliseconds. Our reload add time is the slowest in the SMG category, despite what the description for this gun says. It is the slowest in the SMG category at 1.95 seconds. Our movement speed is 98%, which is standard for SMGs. Magazine capacity is 40 rounds, and this is actually 40 shots, so it's technically 80 rounds of that 15, 12, 10 damage bullets. And our total starting ammo, including the magazine that we spawn with, is going to be 120 rounds. Moving on to our ranges for the VPR, this is where it kind of falls down. And keep in mind, when I'm talking shots to kill, this is actual number of shots to kill, assuming both of your hit scans will hit. As you can see here, its 4-shot kill range is only about 8 meters long. But beyond that, it's going to be a 5-shot kill out to infinity, assuming both of your hit scans hit. But even when you're aiming down sight, when you start to get to the longer ranges, you do have a decent amount of spread with your 2 hit scans out of each shot. If we pop a suppressor on this gun, that reduces our 4-shot kill range down to about 6 meters. And if we pop rifled barrel on this, it takes it to just under 10 meters. So overall, if we're looking at the ranges of the VPR, within 8 meters, this gun is right around average for SMGs. It's pretty good, it will compete with other SMGs, it will generally beat out assault rifles within this 8 meters, but as soon as you get beyond that 8 meters, this gun is completely subpar. Getting into our hipfire spreads, this gun is completely unique, it looks nothing like the other SMGs. If you take a look at the 2 little triangles, that's generally where each one of your hit scans is going to go. Whereas with the other SMGs, it's like completely random within that entire area. This one is actually quite consistent when you hip fire it, or at least you can consistently predict where each one of those hit scans will go. Keep in mind, if you move or if you jump, this hip spread will spread apart horizontally. As for headshots, it has a standard headshot multiplier of 1.1, and therefore it'll take its headshot damage profile to a 16, 13, 11, and that means headshots with this gun are completely useless. Getting into the last thing we're going to look at with this gun, that is recoil. And as you can see here, this gun has one of the worst recoil patterns I have ever seen in a gun. And a lot of that does come down to the fact that you get that spread between each one of your hit scans, even when you're aiming down sight. It also often has a very strong horizontal recoil, and horizontal recoil is a lot more difficult to correct for than vertical recoil. So my overall thoughts on this gun, I really like the iron sights, kind of reminds me of the old MP5K. I really like the reload animation, I think it looks really cool, but aside from that, I think this gun has no real place in the meta. Its only real competitive range is within that 8 meter range, and even within that range, you're going to be clearly beat out by shotguns, and a bunch of the other SMGs are also very clearly superior within this range. So for me, in its current state, this gun doesn't really have a great place in this game. It is fun to go around hip firing with this, it's solid in hardcore modes as well as tactical TDM, but core modes are the ones we tend to focus on with this gun guide series, and this gun just doesn't excel anywhere in core game modes. So moving on to the variants, we currently have 4 variants, and at this point in the game's lifecycle, they are all in the Quartermaster collection, meaning you can only get them in supply drops, you can't craft them with salvage. First up, we have a common one called the Sting. With the Sting, we just get stockpile, which gives you increased ammo, and that takes our magazine capacity up to 48 rounds, and our total starting ammo, including the magazine we spawn within our gun, to 144 rounds. Moving on to the rare variant, this one's called the Irascible, and it gives you Deathbringer, and with Deathbringer, double kills will instantly reload your magazine. And we get Lowrider, which reduces your hipfire spread by 20% when you're sliding. Getting into our legendary variant, this one's called the Wrath, and with Wrath we get Refresher, which every time you get a 5-player kill streak in a life, it will restore 1 lethal and 1 tactical. And we have Steady, which reduces your overall hip spread by 20%. So finally, we have the epic variant called the Yokai. This one is much more interesting than the other ones in my mind. First up, we have Assassin build, and this is something we haven't seen before. This one has an integrated silencer that also prevents revealing of victim death locations. And what this means is when you kill enemy players normally, a skull will appear for their teammates on the map where they died, so they can normally see where their teammates are dying. When you kill somebody with this gun, that skull won't appear for their teammates. Also, it should be pointed out that you don't have to spend a point on this silencer, it's just automatically included on the gun. In addition to this assassin build, we also get Creeper, which increases your movement speed when you're crouched, and I calculated this movement speed increase to be right around 25%. So overall, out of all of those variants, obviously the epic one is quite attractive because of that assassin build. It is quite powerful to be killing enemies and not having their death location shown to their teammates. I remember back in Call of Duty Ghosts, I often would run the takedown perk, which did the exact same thing. It would make it so their skulls didn't appear, and I loved that for my flanking classes. Aside from that though, the common is actually quite nice to have those extra rounds in a magazine. And I really like the legendary just for that reduced hip spread because this gun does excel at hip firing if you're keeping yourself right up close. As for my recommended attachments on this gun, normally I'll be running quick draw just like I run on pretty much every single one of my guns, even though it kind of does excel at hip firing. If you end up in one of those mid-range gunfights, you have to be able to snap onto target as fast as possible because you're already likely at a time to kill disadvantage. Laser sight is also a decent choice if you want to be rushing around within like shotgun-like ranges and hip firing people. That can definitely be an effective strategy with this gun. And aside from that, I tend to pop on extended mags with this gun because I feel like I burn through ammo quite quickly and that reload speed is quite slow even when you have dexterity equipped. So like I said earlier, I am not a big fan of the VPR in its current state. I would take literally any of the other SMGs over this gun in nearly every situation. And a lot of people have been asking me, what would you do then to change this? And this is just my personal opinion. I think it could use a slight buff to its 4-shot kill range. Take it from that 8-meter 4-shot kill range up to around maybe 12 meters. In my mind, this would make it just a little bit more competitive without suddenly turning it into an overpowered gun. And I'd like to know in the comment section below, what do you guys think of the VPR? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think it needs a buff? Do you think it's fine as is? Do you think it needs a nerf? Let me know in the comment section below. If you guys have missed any previous episodes of Gun Guides, like I said, I will leave a link down below to the playlist. You can go and check out all the guns I've already covered. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.